So another year has come and gone. 2022 is over. And I saw a ton of horror movies. So let's go ahead and go over my top 10 for the year. And everybody knows my top 10 is an end all be all. That's right. So if you disagree with me, go ahead and tell me how much you hate me and how much you want me to die in the comments. So what's a top 10 for the year without having the worst for the year? I have my top 5 worst. I also have my top 5 disappointing. And we have some honorable mentions. So if you guys don't know, this is going to be a long video. I mean, you guys already know, you can see the time, but either way. So let's start off with my 5 worst for the year. Number 5, we have Orphan First Kill. Orphan First Kill was a film that I had an inkling was going to be bad, especially when I found out that William Brent Bell was going to be directing it, and I was not wrong. There are some people that like this movie. I'm not one of those people. I thought it was really bad. The look of this film is horrible. The story that they decide to go with is just bad. Julia Stiles really didn't bring anything. The best part of this film was the feud between Esther and Julia's character. And they just squander that. They only make it last like 10 minutes in the film. And the ending for this movie is just horrible. All right. Not only does it look horrible with the CGI, but it just is horrible story-wise. It's, this film almost has no redeeming quality. The best part of this movie is Isabelle Fuhrman with her performance. But even that, you just get so distracted by her mid-20s face that it's just way too distracting, and you can't really immerse yourself into the film. Next is Firestarter. This movie was hot garbage. It was. It's sad saying that because I was really looking forward to this movie. Once I found out it was going to go straight to Peacock, that didn't really give a load of confidence, but I was thinking maybe it could be okay. But no, it's just really boring. All right. Really, really boring. And it sucks because I was excited for Keith Thomas for getting such an IP as his second film. And it didn't work. It was just boring. If you don't know, Keith Thomas directed The Vigil last year, which was one of my favorites for last year. It just did not work. Zac Efron was so unbelievable as a father. The relationship between him and Charlie, it didn't work. It wasn't believable. And did I mention this movie was boring? Next, we have They, Them. This is a movie that had a message, all right? And they totally squandered that because this movie was just terrible. We have this random sing-along halfway through the film that was just way out there. And this movie can't call itself a slasher because there's only a few kills and there's only one in the beginning and the rest are at the end of the film. Maybe there's one in the middle, but what kind of body count is this? It was non-existent. The story is a mess. There's so much crap that doesn't make sense. How is there even a conversion therapy camp that only lasts a week? How can you change someone in a week? There's no way. Next, we have The Invitation. This movie debuted in the wrong decade. All right, this feels like a mid-2000s vampire teenage movie. I don't know how else to describe it. But it was so bad. The ending almost becomes a cartoon. All of a sudden, the villains in the movie get long nails and act super over the top. It was just bad. And the actual ending, like the last scene of this movie, was hilarious. All right, it was hilariously bad. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, I was like, you could have ended this a minute earlier. Last but not least, we have the eyesore Jeepers Creepers Reborn. This movie was so bad. It was disgustingly bad. It was not worth, I think it was like $15 or $16 that I paid at a Fathom event to watch. It was so bad. I was so tempted to walk out, but I spent $16, okay? I felt like this was the first time I saw a franchise film look like a sci-fi movie, but even worse. The green screen in this film was just, it was so distracting. That's putting it in a nice way. It was bad. Never in my life have I regretted buying a movie ticket that badly. It was kind of promising in the beginning, because in the beginning they pretty much copy almost word for word the beginning of the first Jeepers Creepers film, but and then it just falls apart. We have this montage where a woman is changing into different costumes, and you're just asking yourself, when will it end? All right, you guys, so let's stick with the negatives. We're going to get into the most disappointing for 2022. First, we have Dashcam, okay? This film was very disappointing. I was pretty excited after finding out that the director of Host was going to be directing a new film. Dashcam, it was a disappointment. The main character is so unlikable, and I think it's to the detriment of the film. How can you root for someone that you just viciously hate? What's redeeming about this film is there are some pretty cool elements with creature violence and some pretty dope scares, but the rest of the film is all over the place and too crazy for its own good. Next is David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future. This movie was boring, and before seeing this film, I was very excited to check out a new David Cronenberg flick in the theaters, and it wasn't a return to form that I was hoping to see. It was an interesting picture, but it was just very muddled and boring, and the ending was so anticlimactic that I definitely didn't leave satisfied. And I thought if I slept on it, maybe I would like the film more, but it never happened. Next is Men. All right, Alexander Garland having another movie. I really, really, really love Annihilation. It's one of my favorites in general, and Men did not come close to what Annihilation felt for me. It just wasn't really that interesting. It got way too heady for its own good at points, and that ending was just, although I appreciate the visuals for that, it just got old real quick. And last but not least, for disappointing, we have Halloween Ends. Did you know that was going to be there? I kind of have a feeling you did. I don't think I talked about Halloween Ends on this channel. Oh, that's right. I talked about it on my podcast. That's a plug, you guys. Go ahead, check out my podcast. But this movie was just so disappointing. If you guys don't know, I was a fan of 2018 and Halloween Kills. Now, I was liking the direction that the series was going. And I kid you not, when I saw this kid, Corey Cunningham, riding a motorcycle with the wind blowing in his hair and stylish music in the background, I was just sitting there wondering, is this Halloween Ends? What is this? And you can say all you want, Halloween is not Michael Myers, okay? Halloween is something else entirely. I did not watch Halloween Ends to see Laurie versus Corey Cunningham, okay? I didn't! The decision making for this film is what made the movie fall apart, and it just didn't work for me, okay? This is another one that I thought if I sat on it, all right, spent the night on it, maybe I would start liking it. But no, you can't make me. Halloween Ends. So disappointing. This is the climax for Laurie and Michael. That is not what Halloween fans were waiting for. All right, you guys, now that we have that all out of the way, let's get into my favorites for the year. But I still got some more stuff before we get into the top 10s, okay? Don't hate me. Not yet, okay? We have some honorable mentions, okay? And I'm just going to name these out and just say quick things about them. Honorable mentions, let's start off with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I didn't think it was horrible, okay? I actually kind of liked it. If you look at it just like a regular slasher, not taking into account that it's supposed to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, it was okay. It wasn't terrible. Hypochondriac, this one I saw at the Phoenix Film Festival. This one was pretty good. Really cool story. Although there were some things that I wasn't really into, like this one cringe scene where this guy is dancing, and the costume design for this creature or alter ego for our main character was copy and paste from Donnie Darko. Overall, it was a really good film. I really enjoyed it. Piggy. This was another one I saw at the Phoenix Film Festival. This movie was pretty good. If you don't know, it's about this girl who gets bullied, and then she sees her bullies get kidnapped by a serial killer. And she's like in this dilemma where she is trying to save them or just let them die. Pretty cool concept. Crabs, another film that I saw at the Phoenix Film Festival. This is one of your low budget, tongue-in-cheek films. It was a lot of fun, a lot of creature violence, and very Gremlins-esque. It was a lot of fun. I say check that one out. Don't expect an amazing film. All right, very low budget and just tongue-in-cheek and fun. Smile was a film that just came out of nowhere, okay? I thought this movie was going to be terrible, and it was actually pretty good. It follows that formula. You see something you're not supposed to see, and then you have this certain amount of time before you die. That's always a fun concept, and I thought they did well with tackling, the subject of mental illness and all that. It was pretty good with the jump scares as well. Incantation, a Netflix film. This movie was really creepy, really atmospheric, cool found footage flick. Definitely check it out. Fresh. Yeah, it's not in my top 10, but it is a pretty good film. It just didn't make it into my top 10. I didn't think it was worthy, but it's a pretty good movie. I like the subject of cannibalism. And speaking of cannibalism, we also have balls, bones and all. Balls and all. Anyways, this film is more straightforward and a love story. And I really like that concept, mixing that with cannibalism. It was pretty cool. And the main villain in this film was absolutely fantastic. But again, doesn't break into my top 10. Watcher. This movie is really good. Micah Monroe is excellent in this movie. This is another one of those open window type of movies. Our main character is witnessing something from the building across, and it becomes this thriller, horror, chase down type movie. Is she imagining these things in her head? Is this really what's playing out? Or is there something sinister going on? Really like that concept. And I thought setting it in a whole nother country in Romania was an excellent choice. We have Hatching, which was really good. Again, doesn't crack my top 10, but I like body horror, creature type films, and this has that all over it, and the story is very well done. And then last but not least for honorable mentions, we had The Sadness. This movie was freaking crazy, demented, disgusting, horrific, all adjectives. All right. That's what is it adjective or a verb? No, verb is what you do, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. But yeah, this movie is crazy. It's insane. If you don't know, it's about this virus that's going around that makes people erratic, crazy, and murderous. And we have our main character trying to find their significant other during this insane outbreak. All right, everyone, we are down to my top 10 horror films for the year of 2022. Number 10, we have Terrifier 2. Damien Leone did it again, and he made an even better film. Terrifier 2 is one of those films that you can't forget. All right, it leaves an impression on you, and it's just so fun and so violent. And Art the Clown is a great horror villain and will definitely live on. I can't wait to see where they go with the story, what direction they're heading, because it's really interesting what they're doing. And I love the final girl in this movie. Sienna was great to rally behind, and you actually cared about her character. They did the exact opposite of the first film, and actually made you care about the characters this time. and it really worked to the benefit. Number 9, we have The Black Phone. Scott Derrickson does it again. We have another great film from an awesome concept from Joe Hill. Ethan Hawke is a great horror villain. He's so menacing. The main character, Finney, was another horror movie character that was worth getting behind. The sister, played by Madeline McGraw, was excellent. These child actors gave great performances. I like how dark the film gets, but I also like the lighter moments in the film. It was a nice contrast. And again, the direction was very well done. Scott Derrickson, he can almost do no wrong, really. Next, we have Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Of course, we got to have some A24 films in here. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was a lot of fun. It was a cool concept. Generation X's Who Done It, all right? There were some funny moments, some great twists and turns, and the setting. I love the setting of having this crazy party during a hurricane. Is it Gen X or Gen Z? I'm tired. But yeah, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It was a lot of fun and great storytelling. And a twist at the end that I absolutely didn't see coming. At number 7, we have Scream. We had a Scream film this year. It's easy to forget with a new one coming out next year, or yeah, it's about to be 2023. That's like the quickest turnaround I've seen in quite a while. I don't remember the last film that did that. Oh wait, we did have that this year, huh? Well, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that, actually. Anyways, but yeah, we got a new cast in the mix. Also, we have some oldies in the mix with Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, to pass the torch onto this next generation. And I thought it was done really well. It felt like a Scream film, and the rules that they added were justifiable. Although I saw one of the killers coming. I called one of the killers, okay? What am I trying to say? I don't know. I'm bad with words. Although it was a little bit predictable with the killers, it was still a lot of fun. It was nice to return to this world, and I can't help it, you guys. I love Scream, okay? Next, we have Prey. This movie actually gets me really excited. I did not see Prey being what it was. An excellent film. I actually really love this movie. Dan Trachtenberg is a director to watch. Keep your eye on him because he's doing some great stuff. No one thought we would have another good Predator film, and we did. Say all you want that it's not believable that a woman could take out the Predator. Stupid. Predator has always been about outsmarting the creature, okay? It's always been that, okay? It's never been brawn, okay? Not brawn over brawn. It's every David and Goliath story, okay? It's been told from the beginning of time. Prey is a lot of fun. It's thrilling. There's some great moments, some great action, violence, awesome kills, and the Predator is downright scary at times, okay? Prey, number 6. And number 5, like what we were talking about earlier, we have Pearl at number 5. This was the follow-up to X. This was directed by Ty West. It was directed right after they filmed X, and they had some time on their hands because they were trapped on New Zealand. Is that where they were? I don't know. Anyways, because they were trapped there, they're thinking, hey, what if we made another film? What if we made a prequel to X? And that's where Pearl came in. And for this being just made out of the whim, this movie is really good. It's excellent. The story is done really well. Mia Goth gives an excellent performance. She should get nominated. She is excellent in this movie. Some of the most convincing laughing and crying I've ever seen in my entire life. Pearl has that Technicolor feel from the early 40s, and Ty West is he's becoming a force. Look out for this guy. At number 4, we have The Menu. I don't think I reviewed this for the channel. The Menu is so freaking good, you guys. This film mixes some of my favorite things: comedy, horror, and food. All right. You can't go wrong with that. Ralph Fiennes gives an awesome performance of this Gordon Ramsay type character. Anya Taylor-Joy is excellent. They tackle some really interesting concepts, and some of the horror is downright disturbing. All right, especially how they try to play it off with that dark comedy aspect to it. But it does get pretty dark at times. And I really like that about this movie. And it has this rewatchability to it as well. Yeah, I really like The Menu. At number 3, we have Nope. This might be one of my most controversial because, I don't know, I've met more people that don't like this film than I have liked this film. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, this movie, it's another feather in Jordan Peele's cap. I thought this movie was excellent. Just the way they told the story in an unorthodox way, and it really captivated you for the entirety of the film. Daniel Kaluuya is excellent. Keke Palmer is the star of this film. She just takes over at times. Steven Yeun is great in here. An unsung hero was Brandon Perea. He was hilarious and brought some levity to the movie. I like what they did. They dipped into, some of what people were expecting, and then they went into something that people were definitely not expecting. And I don't know, man. It's great having a horror blockbuster. All right. And Jordan Peele is bringing that to the table, and he's not squandering it. Number 2, this was really hard picking number 1 and number 2. These could almost be interchangeable. Barbarian is number 2. This movie is so much fun. It's so unpredictable. It's everything that I wanted in a horror movie. It brought that, and then some Evil Dead elements, Sam Raimi feeling. There's some great horror in here. So some what the F moments. There's just so much in this movie that I loved more than I didn't. And the story and the messaging that this movie delivers, it fits like a puzzle. Those first 20 minutes with Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård is like one of the best starts I've seen to a horror film. Just how much they really make you feel for these characters. And then you just have them fall into this horror, It's so well done. First time horror director Zach Cregger really knocked it out of the park. And you don't really see that with too many new directors. And I can't wait to see what is next for him. All right, you guys. We made it. I feel like I've been making this video for hours. But we finally made it to my number 1. X is my most favorite for the year. Ti West made a return. I was really wondering what happened to Ti West, and I heard X was going to be coming out early 2022. I think it was like January when the first trailer came out, and I was like, "Oop, Ti West is back! Wow!" And Ti West is back. He made an excellent film. Everyone is great in it. Kid Cudi makes his actor debut. Mia Goth is excellent in here. Brittany White is excellent. Jenna Ortega's in here as well. Jenna Ortega had the biggest year out of everyone, but she was great in this movie as well. But Mia Goth was just so good, playing 2 characters in one film. I didn't realize that was her until after when somebody said it, and I was like, wait, what? The film pays homage to the past slashers, with also putting in, its own work. The story is very well done. It's a heartwarming story, but also terrifying. And it has those vicious moments, but it also has these moments of levity. You really care about the characters that you're watching and following. But I feel like X is going to be one of those films that we talk about for a long time, especially with what Pearl became. And now we're going to get Maxine. These films really have the making of being modern classics. X was just the film that really captivated me the most. And for that, I had to have it as my number 1, okay? I just have to. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what some of your worst and your best were in the comments down below. Please, please, please don't threaten my life. I was just playing around earlier. All right. Goodbye.